You've seen her face. I'd bet on it. That ivory pendant mask, crowned with tiny bearded Portuguese heads, calm expression, perfect symmetry. It was the official symbol of Festac 77, the biggest gathering of African and Black diaspora culture the world has ever seen. Right now, it's sitting behind glass in the British Museum, admired by millions of visitors a year. And almost none of them have any idea who she actually was. She wasn't a court decoration. She put on armor, marched into a war her own son was expected to lose, and used everything she had, military strategy, political leverage, and medicine, to make sure her kingdom didn't fall. Her name was Idia. And afterward, an entire kingdom had to invent a brand new title, because there had never been a woman in Benin's history who'd earned one like it. Welcome back to Labari Studio, where we dig up the African men and women whose power was so threatening that the world tried to erase them. Before we go any further, if you've seen that mask before, but never knew her name, drop a comment and let us know where, because that's basically the entire point of this video. To get why Idia mattered so much, you first have to understand the mess her son inherited. When Oba Ozolua died in the early 1500s, Benin exploded into a succession crisis between two of his sons, Esiji and his brother Arhuaran. This wasn't a quiet family disagreement. It was a full-blown civil war that split the kingdom's loyalty and drained its military strength at the exact moment Benin could least afford it. Esiji eventually took the throne, but the fighting left Benin's northern border wide open. And the kingdom of Ida, ruled by the Igala people, noticed. Igala forces crossed the Niger and Benue rivers and pushed straight into Benin's northern territory, threatening not just land, but the trade routes that made Benin one of the richest kingdoms on the entire West African coast, the same corridor connecting Benin's markets north to the Songhai Empire and south to the Atlantic. If Ida won this war, Benin's economic lifeline gets cut, just like that. Esiji was young, barely confirmed as Oba, staring down an invasion his weakened army wasn't exactly built to handle. This is the moment his mother stepped in, and she didn't stay behind in the palace sending well wishes. According to Benin oral history and court tradition, Idia dressed for war and rode alongside Esiji's army into the Ida campaign of 1515 to 1516. This wasn't a symbolic ride-along either. Idia was already known across the Benin court for her mastery of herbal medicine and protective charms, knowledge that mattered enormously on a pre-modern battlefield, where poisoned weapons and infection killed just as fast as enemy spears. Court tradition credits her with the medicinal preparations and protective rituals that kept Esiji's forces fighting fit, plus the political counsel and strategic thinking that shaped how the whole campaign was actually run. Call it battlefield medicine, spiritual authority, sharp logistics, or all three working together at once. Every source agrees on the outcome. Benin's chroniclers and oral historians all name her as decisive in Esiji's victory. Not a background presence, decisive. And Benin won. Ida got pushed back, the threat to Benin's trade corridor eliminated, and Esiji locked down control of the Niger River trade route in one of the biggest military wins of his entire reign. Here's where this story stops being just another power behind the throne tale. Esiji didn't just thank his mom privately and move on. He rebuilt the government around what she'd done. He created an entirely new political office, Iyoba, Queen Mother. Before Idia, that position didn't exist. Esiji gave her a separate palace at Usulu, her own staff, her own advisors, land, and by most accounts, soldiers who answered directly to her. This wasn't a nice gesture. The Iyoba became a permanent part of Benin's government going forward, a real seat of female power built directly into how the kingdom ran itself. and it existed because one woman had already proven, in actual war, exactly what she was capable of. Every Iyoba, who came after Idia, held that title because she went first, and because Esiji designed the entire role around what she'd already shown him. Now here's where the story takes a much darker turn, the part almost nobody tells alongside her face. That ivory mask you've seen. It was almost certainly carved generations after Idia's death, part of Benin's incredible tradition of memorializing royal ancestors in ivory and bronze. It sat in the royal palace at Benin City for centuries, one of thousands of art pieces that made Benin's court one of the most sophisticated artistic centers on the planet. Then, in 1897, British forces launched what's now called the Benin Punitive Expedition, an invasion staged as payback for an earlier ambush of a British trade delegation. British troops torched Benin City, exiled the reigning Oba, and looted the royal palace of thousands of bronzes, ivories, and artworks, an entire visual record of Benin's history, gone in a matter of days. Idia's mask was one of them. It ended up in Britain, and today it sits in the British Museum, one of the most contested pieces in the ongoing fight over the return of the Benin bronzes. Just sit with that for a second. The image of a woman who commanded medicine, strategy, and armed forces to save her kingdom became a global art icon, printed on posters, coins, festival branding across the African world, while the actual object sits in the country that stole it, and most people staring at it have zero idea who she was or what she did. Her face went global. Her story got erased at the exact same time, in the exact same object. Nobody clocks the contradiction. But why does erasure work like this? Why does the symbol get to travel the world while the woman behind it just disappears? Because a symbol is easy to sell. A calm ivory face, beautifully carved, fits neatly onto a museum wall or a festival poster without asking the viewer for anything. A woman who dressed for war, supplied the medicine that kept an army standing, and forced an entire kingdom to build a new institution around her? That asks a lot more. That forces you to picture a version of African queenship with nothing decorative about it. Real command, real consequences, real war. It's just easier, and a lot more comfortable for the institutions that profited off looting her image to let her stay beautiful and silent behind glass than to actually explain who she was and how she got there. What did that silence cost? The same thing it always costs on this channel. Proof, buried again, that a queen mother's authority in Benin wasn't decoration. It was earned on a battlefield, written into the government, and then physically stolen and stripped of context by the very empire that went on to write most of the history books. So who was Idia, really? A mother who refused to sit at home while her son rode into a war he might lose. A healer whose medicine kept an entire army standing through a brutal campaign. A strategist whose counsel shaped how that war actually got won. The reason a whole new office of government had to be invented, because no existing title came close to covering what she'd earned. And right now, one of the most recognized faces in African art history, admired by millions who've never once heard her name. Why does any of this matter today? Because that mask in the museum case isn't just a pretty object. It's evidence. Evidence of a real system of female power inside one of West Africa's greatest kingdoms, and evidence of exactly how that power gets hollowed out the moment it leaves African hands. Every single time that mask gets displayed as pure aesthetics, no name, no Ida war, no Iyoba title, the erasure happens all over again, live, in front of new visitors, generation after generation. Reclaiming Idia's story means putting her name back on her own face. It means understanding that the Iyoba title exists today because a woman marched into war and proved she belonged there. And it means recognizing that a stolen object sitting in a foreign museum isn't some neutral fact of history. It's a choice, made fresh every single day, that the mask stays there without her story attached. Thank you for watching. If this one got you, hit subscribe. We drop new episodes every week about the African women and men whose power shaped history. Next up, we're heading to Central Africa, to a kingdom that did something almost no other African state ever did when Europeans first showed up on its coast. It looked at Portugal, decided Christianity and literacy were tools worth taking on its own terms, and tried to build an empire that could sit at the table with Europe as an equal. It didn't stay that way, and we're about to show you exactly how it fell apart.